Hi there, Professor and classmates. I would like to introduce the Microsoft case study and how it applies to Chapter 3 of our textbook, Analyzing the Marketing Environment. Let's start by looking at Microsoft and where they began. In the 1990s and early 2000s, they were the dominant software developer. They had the Windows operating system, and they also provided the product of the Office Productivity Suite. Their stock was soaring at $618.9 billion. They were actually the most valuable business ever at that time. So that's how huge it was. Well, things obviously changed. And over the course of the next decade or so, the world became a little more connected, and the need to become mobile was definitely becoming ever more present. And so what that did to Microsoft was their stock plummeted. They were not very successful because they were tied to PCs. And what was happening in the environment was that people needed to be mobile. They wanted tablets and devices, handheld devices, and they wanted to be connected to the web and to their social networks. And so Microsoft dramatically transformed, and they offered an array of new products and services that would apply to the changing market. The tablets, clouds, different smartphones, things like that. And so they definitely provided a service rather than just a product. So as the CEO of Microsoft put it, he said, "The opportunity ahead for Microsoft is vast, but to seize it, we must focus clearly, move faster, and continue to transform." And so that was their marketing strategy, actually. Now, moving on to Kotler, and what we learned about in Chapter 3 and how this applies, there was actually 5 objectives for Chapter 3, and they all had to do with the different environments and environmental forces that apply to different businesses and how they should be taken into consideration for the marketing strategy. And so as we see the 5 different objectives for the chapter, the environmental forces, demographic and economic environments, natural and technological environment, political and cultural environment, and the marketing environment are all very applicable to this Microsoft case. Most specifically, the environmental forces, the microenvironment and the macro environment that have to deal with what customers are asking for, what competitors are providing in the marketplace, and then also the fact that the culture of the world actually was changing pretty significantly, and technology was moving from a more static and stationary technology to something that needed to be mobile and connective. And so these were the major driving forces. Now, technology and culture are what drove Microsoft to make this huge transformation from the 90s to where we are today. And the text actually reads, Microsoft couldn't control the market, but they were able to watch and react to the changes. They were even trying to stay ahead of the curve. And in fact, one businessman put it best when he said, there are 3 types of companies: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. So you can see that Microsoft wasn't able to change these forces, but they were definitely watching, and they were trying to stay ahead of the curve when they were providing these services. So as it applies to the marketing environment, Kotler also stated, rather than simply watching and reacting to the marketing environment, companies should take proactive steps. And what we saw from Microsoft was not only did they react, they actually got proactive, and they changed their entire marketing strategy from offering just products like the Microsoft Office Suite that I'm using here with the PowerPoint, and they wanted to actually create an experience. And so they have a value-driven marketing strategy now to create that experience that says they are creating a delightful and seamless technology experience. And so we've seen this huge transformation that was proactive, but also a reaction to these forces. And that's how it applies to Chapter 3 in our textbook. Thank you so much.